It's Saturday night in the town of Mindo, Ecuador. It's time to go look for some reptiles. Hopefully the hippie anole. Fingers crossed. Tonight we have a target species, a specific animal we want to nature journal in some challenging and wet conditions. This is where the rubber hits the road in terms of nature journaling. First we got dropped off at this slightly spooky spot.
Hi, my name is Abel, and we are here looking for Anoles hippie in Mindo.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Last time I was in Mindo, I walked around a lot at night by myself looking for these lizards and I couldn't find them. So this time I hired Abel, and instead of taking me to the middle of the forest, his spot for finding these was right along the side of a busy highway at night. Kind of sketchy. First thing we found was this massive stinging caterpillar. Some of these have such toxic venom or poison that you get sick and get a fever after getting stung by them. I'm not taking out my nature journal for any of these cool invertebrates yet because I want to save it for the anoles. 30 minutes later, and I think Abel just found one.
Hey Marlene, look at this. Who is Anoles? Woo!
Yes, this is my first time seeing this lizard, and there is a temptation in these conditions just to take photos and videos, but my plan was to nature journal, so I'm going to nature journal. And it is possible to nature journal in these sort of drizzly conditions and even use watercolor. You just have to try it and see how it works and adapt to the conditions. So I definitely started with my ink drawing. I have my waterproof backpack, so if it starts raining more, I can put all my supplies away. I've got my basic ink drawing of the lizard, and now I'm going to go in with my watercolor. Notice I'm using my water brush that puts out less water because things are going to dry really slow in this high humidity. A lot of people think it's not possible to do watercolor in the field with live animals or in challenging conditions, but it is actually possible. You just have to try it and start practicing and figure out what works for you. For me personally, it's much more exciting and much more real to try to do it in the field like this. I can observe a lot more and learn a lot more. One of the things I learned on this trip that I wasn't expecting is that these lizards are a lot more common along the side of the road. Previously, I had been searching for them deeper in the forest, but here on this location, we found a lot of them. And it's really interesting to me from a conservation point of view because this is a challenging environment. Every time the cars and trucks and buses go by, you can see all of the vegetation shaking around, and just imagine the lizards living there on those branches, getting shaken by the cars, hit by the cars as the cars pass by. It's also a very dangerous place to nature journal, so go with a friend if you do something like this. Less dangerous than the cars, but definitely a danger are these biting ants. Look at the way they have this nest all over that plant. And there's so many cool distractions. Look at this really cool grasshopper. I chose not to draw the grasshopper, but we found some more anoles, and I wanted to get sketches of those. Abel is more used to guiding photographers, so he was ready to move on, but I wanted to at least get a quick sketch of this other species.
Entonces ahora estamos viendo.
Este es el Anoles gema, Anoles gemusus. Tiene menos manchas negras.
Ay, no. Gemusus.
Gemusus, ajá.
Whenever you're nature journaling, there's this tricky balance between finishing something and focusing on one thing and being open to the biodiversity. In Mindo, Ecuador, there's an extreme amount of biodiversity, so as I was trying to finish this drawing of the gem anole and give it some respect, we started to hear the sounds of a really cool owl that was a new species that had never seen before or heard.
Podría ser un lifer, un nuevo Pokémon. Alright, I got some good Anoles drawings here, and we've seen at least 3 species, and then Abel just heard an owl up here. That might be a new species for me, so we're gonna go up here and check it out. Tamaño del hecho. Alright, we saw the owl, and I got a sketch of the owl, and then a couple more Anoles, and a cool frog, and a bunch of insects.
Está aquí. Por lo general yo las encontraba en estas plantas, pero cerca.
Hermosos también.
Sí, ajá.
Ay, sí están saliendo las gotitas ahora porque... Linda, linda.
Las hojas.
Now we're looking to see if we can see a coral snake species that's been seen in this area, which would be super fun to nature journal.
Sorry to wake you up, little guy.
Mm-hmm.
Not a coral snake. This sugarcane habitat is supposed to be perfect habitat for coral snakes, and they have been found run over right in this area. Look, wait, what? Look at that. It's a...
Está perfecto. Parece que es caña exprimida, ¿no?
Sí, esto es caña exprimida.
This should have been the perfect place to find some coral snakes, but no luck tonight.
All right, we didn't find any coral snakes, but it's really important to nature journal when you don't see things also. That's also information. And for example, as we got further down the road here, we also stopped seeing as many of the anoles further up, we were seeing tons of them, over 20. And then as we got further down, we were seeing different things and the habitat looked the same, but there was a lot fewer anoles. So those are things that are important to take notes of. Also, it's really easy just to focus on drawing the pretty animals and drawing the pretty plants, but it's important to take notes about where you see things, distribution, where you don't see things, stuff like that.
We saw a few more cool things such as a sphinx moth and some really cool frogs, but no more anoles. It was time to call the taxi driver and get a ride back to Mindo. Thanks to my Patreon members for making this episode possible. Learn more at patreon.com/MarleyPiper.